Welcome to Unstoppable Real Estate Investing Wealth. My name is Billy Alvaro, aka the Unstoppable VA, former billion-dollar mortgage banker, gone bankrupt, turned professional real estate investor. Where each week you'll learn the tools, strategies, systems, and secrets myself and other highly successful real estate investing entrepreneurs use to start, grow, and scale their businesses, creating massive profits, and how you can too. And we'll teach you how to put those profits to work so you no longer have to. Get ready to finally experience financial freedom and generational wealth. Now let's get started. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Unstoppable REI Wealth. I'm your host, Billy Alvaro, the Unstoppable BA, and we are here today to bring the heat, get back into some financing strategies, and interview another expert of the elites. Today I'm interviewing Chris Prefontaine from Rhode Island. Chris, how you doing, bud?
I am awesome, thank you. And you said that perfectly.
Thank you so much, because I screw everybody's name up. I'm notorious.
All good.
So listen, I'm excited about this because you are like I don't want to use the word guru, but you're a guru when it comes down to creative financing. You're not a regular fix and flip, buy and hold. You're doing some creative shit out there. Want to get into that. But first, want to get into how did you get into this business? How long ago? How did you get in? And then I want to get into all this creative stuff you're doing today.
So I'll condense this to like less than a minute because it's 30 and a half years ago. I've been at this for a while, but in 2008, after the crash, it caused me to literally re-engineer everything because I lost everything and then some. So that's what caused us to pivot to no banks, no cash, no signing personally ever. Prior to that, I did a little of everything, but that's how I got here today.
Love it. And what kind of volume are you and your team doing these days?
Right now, I think the snapshot, someone just hit me with this. I think we're controlling about 90 million in real estate. And there's not literally, Billy, there's not a loan on any of them that we're on anyway, right? Because it's usually there's seller loan or seller financing.
All right. So let's go in, because seller financing, there's a lot of guys out there who are doing it. I know offline, you and I were speaking. There's a lot of guys who are doing it incorrectly. Tell us about seller financing and how to do this right.
Well, okay. So we acquire properties three ways. Lease purchase, where the deed doesn't transfer. It's good for new people. Subject to existing financing staying in place. In other words, it stays in the owner's name, even though we take ownership of the house. And then owner financing, that's how we buy. When you and I talked briefly before the show, we exit most of these, just to keep this simple at this level and not advanced, rent to own. And the marketplace, I can go on other shows and see people talking about this, and it just makes me cringe, because what they say is, yeah, rent to own is good. You just put the buyers in the house, and it doesn't matter if they qualify. If they default, you just do it again, collect another deposit. And although they might be protected legally, it's just morally and ethically bogus. So my son, Nick, runs the buyer side of things. And we're very, very specific about making sure the buyer that goes in that home is a buyer who needs time, not a wannabe renter that has had a 30-year history of credit problems. That's not where we want to go. Right. So we have about a 2 to 5% default rate. It's not too bad. I don't know what the government loans are, but it's not that bad. And that's because life events do happen, right? But for the most part, we get them to the success point. We get them to the finish line.
So this is interesting. So your whole model is creative financing. You're not doing any type of hard money, no type of bank loans at all. This is all sub-2 lease option.
Sub-2 lease option, owner financing. Yes, and we even niche the owner financing down deeper. We target properties with the owner financing that are free and clear. About a third of the properties in the United States are free and clear. We love those because they usually don't need, quote unquote, the money now, and they'll do longer terms if they get their price. My office building was bought the same way I'm talking about. So it's a great strategy.
This is insane. All right. So take us through, what does your lead generation process look like to target, you're buying subject to owner financing lease options? What does that look like?
Yeah, so each one's a little different, right? Because the nature, just let me preempt it with this, the nature of owner financing free and clear is such that they're not stressed. They just want to accomplish a goal that the market won't give them. But the nature of sub-2s is, I'm stressed and I need debt relief yesterday. Please take my house. Two totally different avatars. But how we get them are all the same. We talk to expired listings, even in hot markets. We talk to for rent by owners, because there's a lot of tired landlords after COVID. And we speak to for sale by owners. And then we buy 2 lists. I mean, this goes back 3 decades. We buy free and clear, and we buy out of state / absentee owners. That has always produced well for us.
And so the free and clear and the out of states are good for your owner financing, the sub two. Are you doing any pre-foreclosure lists to these sub twos or nothing like that?
We don't. I mean, some of the students do, but we just don't. We got enough lead flow. It's a valid source. Yeah.
For sure. All right. Take us through the mindset. A lot of people who are trying to get into the subject to business or the owner financing business, they can't get over the hump with trying to quote unquote convince the seller to actually become the bank. Right. So let's go through that process of what that looks like.
Here's why I'm chuckling, and it's nothing against anyone that has a problem with this, but please understand it's not difficult. Here's why. If you approach the calls, every call, frankly, I'm looking for someone I can help. You're not looking to convince anyone or anything. Keep in mind, you're called a buyer for a reason. You're not selling them on anything. You're a buyer. They need to tell you what their problem is, or in my case, when I bought the building, he's a real estate investor, and he wanted what the market wasn't going to give him. So in that case, I'm helping him achieve a goal. So it's either you're solving a problem or helping them achieve a goal that they otherwise can't do in the marketplace. When you have that, you're golden. If you don't have that, don't waste time. In other words, if someone says to me, yeah, I got to buy a home next week, Chris, for my family, as soon as this sells, I need every penny of equity out. All right, I'm not your buyer. Good luck. If something falls through, call me. On the other hand, when the building owner had his building on the market, he wasn't getting, I think it was $550 back in 18. He wasn't getting it. So I said, I'll pay your price down. I have no problem with it, but I need my terms. And that was, I wanted some major principal only payments, no interest. And I wanted 20 years. He gave me both of those. So I gave him his price. So
insane.
All you're doing is listening.
Insane. And he had no problem acting as the bank on that deal, that 550 purchase with zero interest. So I just want the listeners to understand every dollar you're paying him each month is going as a principal pay down.
That's deal. Every residential house we've done it that way. This one was a hybrid because he was so sophisticated. So here's what we did. He said to me, well, no, of course. He's a math guy too. He said, no, of course I need interest. And I said, well, we don't buy that way. So I was just kind of doing the set, we never buy that way. So we said, let's do this. For the first 2 years, my down payment, we broke the mold because it was my own office building. So I did put money down. My down payment and the monthlies were all principal. So I hammered the principal way down to the tune of like 90 grand. And then we took the rest of that and amortized it. So he was happy and I was happy.
Good. So it worked out for both of you guys. Talk to us about traditional real estate deals. How are you, your team, your acquisitions department, how are they pitching this to the end buyer or the end seller rather, with giving them a monthly payment with no interest? How does that conversation happen? And what are the benefits to the seller to take a zero interest rate payment?
Yep. Usually a couple things. First of all, it's price. Call it ego, they want a good return because they've owned it for something, whatever it is. Price is usually their hot button, like that guy. But this guy had two other things that comes up a lot with owners like this that are pretty financially savvy. Tax issue is a big one. So they're spreading that out over time. Number one. And number two, trust and estate planning. This guy passed away like 7 months ago. I think he knew that. He had some cancer issues. So he wanted his wife and his son set up not to run a building that they don't know how to run, but to receive payments. So literally passed away in February. So I got to think he kind of knew that because he had some stuff going on. But to answer your question, it's all of those things. They want to prolong that. They don't want to claim interest income. If they can get a nice premium on their price, they don't want to be doing that every year. So there's a lot of little nuances like that on the ones that are free and clear. Different animal with sub two, obviously.
Right. So let's stick with the free and clear. So what I'm hearing you saying is if you can give them, you're almost building in the interest. If you're giving them a higher purchase price, you're going 20,000 over asking, but because you're doing principal only, you're paying that down quick. And then your principals just catch up. But in their head, they're like, I'm getting $20,000 more than what I'm actually asking for. And I don't have to include the interest payments on my tax returns. It's a win all the way around. Love it.
And they they spread out the cap gains, right? Depending on how their accountant wants to do that.
Yep. Instead of taking it all up front, they're taking it out over time. All right. So the free and clear stuff I got. Talk to us about the subject two.
Subject two, again, totally opposite of the coin. That usually it's someone. I'll give you some examples. It's always best. So we had a student just last month, Michigan. Sad story, but these are coming up now because of COVID. She had a first that was only like $600 a month. It was tiny, and the second that was also tiny, like 200 something bucks a month. Sadly, after the forbearance kicked the can forward, she couldn't afford it, stopped paying it. Now, as we all know, that would be foreclosed on. Her credit's screwed up and her life is screwed up for 3 to 7 years, depending on what she does. One of my students, Robert, and I went in because we do the deals with these guys so that they learn on the fly. And just the fact that we were going to catch up her small arrears. I'm talking like nothing, $5 or $6 grand. So it does, again, break the mold of no money down, but because we have a huge upside. I think she owed maybe 70 or so. The house is worth all day long, 140. So it was a no-brainer to find that arrears money. And what she liked, Billy, was she liked that we exit by helping buyers that need that on-ramp. She literally said, this is why I'm going to you guys, because people try to come by and steal her house and didn't really care or short sell it. And that's why she went with us. She just liked the energy of healthy, win-win, both sides.
Yeah, that's so important, dude. That's so important. I don't want to really get into the lease option side because I don't. I think the sub two. Let's flip over now. Let's go on to the back end with your rent to own. What's your process? Because this is really the back end of your business has to be just as strong as the front end of your business. Like you're acquiring properties, you're probably acquiring a massive list of potential buyers that you want to put into these properties. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, buyer list is huge now. I remember, after the crash when I started this, I remember being excited about 25 buyers. I think we've got like 6,000 in there now.
Wow.
So the back end's interesting. So my son, Nick, will qualify them. They have to jump through a bunch of automation before they even get to the point of applying. When they apply, they're going to go through a regular sort of quasi underwriting process, not with us, with a third party, to check out front end, back end, housing ratios, FICO score, et cetera. With the caveat that we understand that one of two things are happening right now, primarily with these buyers. One, because of COVID, a lot of entrepreneurs are saying, to hell with a job, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. They got cash, they're a good buyer, but they need 2 years of seasoning to go get a loan. Most of them. So those are great. And most of them didn't know that. They went to get in and they get a loan and they're like, nope, you gotta show me your income for 2 years. So we love those buyers. They just need a set 2 years. The second set of buyers are people that maybe because of COVID, but this has always been going on. They have credit issues, right? Death, divorce, you name it. So we give them that on-ramp, but they have to go through the credit enhancement program and have accountability steps where we have a portal. And if they get off the program or screw up or delay, we know it. And we call them on it. And part of their agreement, their purchase option is that they will complete that. If they don't, they lose their option. So it's a serious thing. We've created and trademarked in the United States the 3 payday system, which is those buyers are putting money down. No, they have buyers. They have skin in the game. That's non-refundable. The monthly spread between what we pay on the underlying debt and what they're paying us, that's payday 2. And payday 3 is all that principal pay down that we talked about and the markup in the price, and that's at the end of the deal. So that's the standard exit. If we're sitting on a sub 2 though, or a long-term owner financing deal, and that buyer proves themselves, we'll give them a carrot and say, hey, you get your deposit up to X, you never miss a payment, we'll owner finance you now. We'll take you out of the rent to own, you'll never go to a bank, and we'll owner finance you. So we just started doing that like 3 years ago.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What do you do? A wrap? You get
exactly.
Yeah, good.
Smart. Yeah, and that way it's two things. One, it's long-term for us. I call it wealth stacking because when a student comes in with us, they want to get deals going right away. I understand that. But as soon as they get like 5 to 10 properties in their portfolio, then I start teaching them how to take some of those out and make them longer-term deals.
Tell me, you mentioned the software. Is this software that you created that you put these buyers through, or is it a third-party software that you leverage to make sure these buyers?
It's mostly third-party people. Good question. Most of the systems internally we've built, but that's just checklist automation. But most of the other people that do the screening, the mortgage officers that help us, those are all third-party.
All third-party guys. And there's no software. You said that you were taking them through something. That's just your internal shit that you were doing?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, so back end, I don't know how many buyers you said. How many units do you guys currently have under management? I know it's about $90 million in total value. How many units does that equate to?
We've got in our family team, we carry somewhere between 50 and 60 properties at a time-ish. And then the community, because we partner on all these deals with them, the community does another 10 to 12 a month conservatively. You've got about 100 and something of these, we call them associates, out in the field who have an associate relationship. I'm calling it partner, but for them to understand, the listeners. But They're called associates, and they do deals with us, and they rev share until they get to a certain point, and then they're on their own if they want.
I love it. And those rev shares, that goes on for the life of that particular property that you guys
have?
That
deal, yeah, good question. 10 deals, but that deal lives with us, the two of us, yeah.
And how do you do the rev share? 50-50 between yourself and the student?
Depends on what level. We've got different participation levels. Some people are more aggressive and would rather pay some up front and go, hey, I want most of my split, and others go, I just want to do deals with you. I want to learn. I don't have that much money. So just depends.
Got it. Let's get into your course. Like, tell us about what you guys do on the coaching side.
So the coaching side, I'm big on free, Billy. So I'll give you a link for your listeners later too. But I'm big on free because I want people to like understand what the heck they're looking at. There's too many shiny objects in real estate, as you know. And I want them to be going, I'm committed to Chris for 3 years minimum. I'm in this to play, not to dip my left toe in and try it. So I want them to go to YouTube, and there's 150 deals posted, maybe more now. We do that every Sunday. So they can go. We expose everything. We're from New England. We just tell it like it is. Like if the deal sucked, we say, here's where we screwed up. So they can go and free, do that. There's a master's class I have. Again, I'll give that at the end. That's free. But once you get through that and you go, okay, this is it. I like the win-win. I like the healthy relationship. Then they can go through our academy. And our academy really focuses on literally from lead gen, which you started asking, all the way through to my son teaching you exactly what to do to exit that deal. It's like, 11 or 12 mods, all the agreements. It's pretty massive course, pretty robust.
Pretty intense. And with that, is it a drop-in where it's online, they could drop in whenever, or is it group coaching? How is that set up?
After that academy, they decide if they want to go do deals on their own or if they want to fast forward it and, in my opinion, not leave any money on the table and do deals with us. And then they'll apply for one of those levels I was referring to earlier, because we kind of like all our employees, all our students, we go by our values. So like we've said no to people. It's just that if it's not going to fit or it's going to pollute the community, we say no. So it is a very tight community, wicked smart community. And they love it. It's like family.
I love the name, by the way, Wicked Smart.
It took a while. We finally freaking got that and trademarked it.
Yeah, that's great, man. How long have you had that for?
Wicked Smart was trademarked, and then the company name changed probably only a year and a half ago. We've been Smart Real Estate Coach forever.
Yep. Good, man. So talk to me about the structure of your business. Small. It's a family-owned business, right?
Yeah, my son-in-law is Zach, is partner, and in the field, kind of duplicated me in our business. But in the coaching world, he's the COO, does a great job. My son Nick, in both businesses, focuses on just the buyer piece. Very well-oiled machine he's got going with that, and then a great team that we built around us. But it started with that, and my daughter. But she now has two great kids, so she's not as active. But the three of us are super active.
You have a wicked family business going on there.
Yeah, we do.
I want to dive in deeper. We touched on. I know you said you take people through the platform, the back end, but what makes your business special, unique, with your son on that back end, really honing in on the buyer piece? Because like a lot of wholesalers, they're taught if you want to go build your business, you have to have a really good buyers list.
Yeah.
Get the product, but make sure you have buyers in the back end. Just I know you're getting these people going through the underwriting and their mortgages, but like how intense is it for them to get qualified? And what does it look like? Do they go in like a portal on a list? When a house comes up, do you blast it out to them? Like, speak about that.
So general, and we can peel back any piece of this. So we get a house on a contract today. We use the Appfolio platform. I don't know if you're familiar with that, pretty popular. And Appfolio has a great marketing piece to that. So once it hits Appfolio, when we launch it, we call it just launching, it hits like 28 portals. It's all online. But the big difference is we're offering terms. We're saying things like no immediate bank qualification necessary, no bank loan necessary. So you're getting all the buyer benefits without getting that loan yet. Once they raise their hand, go, hey, I want to see that property. My son Nick has a series of voicemail and text strips. So they got to go take action. They got to go watch the video so they don't call with all the same questions. And then once they get through that, they can see the property and fill out what's called a next step form. It's like a mini application.
Yep.
He gets that. Then he's on the phone live with them. If they have, generally speaking, enough income, generally speaking, good longevity in the jobs, and the down payment's key because that's skin in the game. If they have that, or at least worth talking, he'll call them and schedule a face-to-face, or these days a Zoom, and see if it's worth going to the next level. On the more popular houses, we'll get 3 or 4 of those. And just like any other deal, they'll kind of round robin and see who come up with the most down payment. That's given everything else being equal.
Yeah.
And then while that's going on, in order to get approved, they'll go through my credit team. It's Paul Ritter and gang. Been using them, for like 13 years or so.
So your credit team is a mortgage company who's doing an underwrite for you?
He used to be 20-something years as a mortgage rep. Now he just does this credit enhancement side and seasoning, and then kicks us back what we call a mortgage ready plan. So you're our buyer. We get a plan back, 20, 30 pages. It says, hey, we spoke with Billy. Here's his game plan. He'll be mortgage ready in blank months. And then we fit you to a house that term will fit into.
I love that. I love that. Is that a product that he actually put together that you guys are leveraging, that mortgage ready product?
I think he has some, I think he does have some proprietary software he uses. That's not ours. And I don't know, Bill, I like the arm's length of that too. I like someone else qualifying and doing all that.
Absolutely. What does your team look for in regards to disposable income with these people who are coming in? They're making $5,000 a month. They have bills of, $2,000 a month. How much disposable or how much money on top of their mortgage payment and current payments do you want to see that they have readily available, if you even underwrite it like that?
Nick does a few things, sort of. He does when he just takes a quick glance at it as far as the monthly income, barring they don't have a load of debt, he wants to see 3 times whatever we're looking for monthly as their monthly income ballpark. And then that gets them into the next level of, okay, you're going to need 10% down for your loan. We're going to need that over time, whether you have it to get into the house or not. You're never going to get into the house with less than 3%, no matter how strong you are. But over time, you've got to have a plan with your tax returns, with retroactive pay, whatever you have coming up. You got to increase your deposit over time. So we get you set up to win, number one. And number two, it does get them more vested in the home. And number three, it's good for us. It's just a win-win system that makes everybody win.
I love it. Question I have for you is, doing these owner financing sub 2, it seems like a lot more work than taking in a property, renovating and selling it, or taking in a property, keeping it as a rental and just renting out. It seems like just a lot of work. Speak to that.
Good point. Okay, so 2 things. One is the big answer is the paydays. I did a lot of building and a lot of flipping. I did hundreds of homes from ground up, from dirt up. The fact is, I loved it. The fact is, you and I know there's good money in it. But every January, literally, I remember like it was yesterday, I go, I gotta go do it again. Like I gotta go recreate all that again. So that's why we did the 3 paydays coming out of the crash. I just didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to have more longevity and more income, that if I get off the treadmill for 6 months, literally just stop for 6 months. I got my spreadsheet. I know when my paydays are coming in. I'm cool.
Yeah.
As far as the keepers, the buy and hold, we do some of those. So we'll pointedly, the office building's different, but on a house, we'll pointedly say, hey, this is a great one to rent, or this is a great one for VRBO. So we'll do those very, very selectively. But again, what we're teaching in our main model is they can get these 3 paydays going in the course of the 2 to 5 years until they get more advanced.
I love it, dude. I love it. Talk on your coaching. Just give everybody a shout out. Where do they go if they want to get coached from you?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I wrote down a link for you. They can go to wickedsmartbooks.com/unstoppable. wickedsmartbooks.com/unstoppable.
That's
and
me.
It's not. What was that?
That's me. Unstoppable.
That's your link. It's for your tribe only. So I thought it was a really cool fit for you. So and the reason is, so many people say, oh, my free book, and you go to do it, and you got to put a card in for shipping. It drives me crazy. Yep. So we're not going to put a card in. You're not going to cost 10 cents. We will get you out a couple books actually, but you don't have to go to Amazon and buy them. They're best sellers. And then if you want to get to that master's class I mentioned, just go to smartrealestatecoach.com/master's class. And this, if you don't mind listening to my New England rant for an hour, you get a lot of info in that. You'll decide if you want to go further.
Yeah, listen, I can just tell just from your vibe and talking to you, we've been on now for 25 minutes. You have the energy. You definitely have the expertise. Like, you know what the hell you're doing. I don't know how old you are. You're probably about my age. You look like you're in fucking great shape. So you got the mind, the body, the spirit, the business, the family. Like, it's all together for you, man. You're on fire, bro. And coming back.
I appreciate it. I'm 56. So I don't know where you're pushing, but I'm 56.
Yeah, 50. I'll be 53. So we're right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
The older you get, it's all just one number now. It's like batches of 10.
Yeah, it is. Is there anything, Chris, you want to leave off our listeners? You added a lot of value today. I mean, this was hard hitting, really quick, tons of information, like no BS, no fluff. You just brought it for 25. You did what it takes certain people 2 hours. You did it in 25 minutes.
Well, New England. I talk fast. I would just say this, because there's so many shiny objects, and because I'm not so naive to think, oh yeah, everybody should do what I do. I mean, I'm biased to it, but I know that's not reality. So do this. My only advice, 3 things. 1, pick a niche that you really can get behind. Some people love helping people. Some people rather just stay behind the computer and flip land. It's okay, whatever your personality is. Second, find someone, this is so important. Find someone in that niche that has gone through at least 1 or 2 cycles and some life events, frankly, because then you have a mentor that's not going to show you how to do a deal. Anybody can do that. You have a mentor that can bring you through the challenges that are coming. Like, you're going to hit stuff that you don't know what to do. And so once you find that person, and morally and ethically, you can get behind them. Then third, put the blinders on for 3 years. Bare minimum, 3 years. You're old enough to know Brian Tracy.
Of course.
Some people wouldn't. Brian was on my show, and I told him that 3-year thing because I said, I don't want people getting a curveball and then like quitting. And he said, okay, but that's not right. That's not enough. I said, why? He's the first person to challenge him. He said, it's 7 years. He said, Chris, I'm 82. Here's what they're going to go through. 2 or 3 years, they're going to suck. 2 or 3 years, they're going to say, I'm starting to make money. And then the last, 1 to 2 years, they're going to create wealth if they can do it for 7 years. That was his opinion. So I've been screaming about that because I think he's very spot on.
Yeah, that's spot on information, man. I mean, the 10,000 hour thing, you really need to be into it and focus it in your craft and hone in. And I know in the beginning, when I first started doing this, I was shiny objects. Like, I was doing a bunch of little things. I cleared my plate, focused on one thing, did it well, systematized it, got myself together, hired it out, set up the next division. And, I'm 13 years doing this, and I'm happy to say the business could run without me. I don't need to be in the office. Like, we just got back from Puerto Rico for a month. We're in Mexico for 2 weeks. It's just, we were able to do that because we built a sustainable business that actually, it's a living, breathing it's an organization that can run without me, which is, it's a fantastic feeling.
It's the key. I love it. Congrats, by the way. It's awesome.
It is, brother. Thank you. Listen, you've been wonderful. Love having you on. Love your energy. We definitely have to connect and stay in touch. And thanks again, man, for coming on. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Look forward to it.
Thank you, bro.